Oh wow, there's quite a few new faces in here today. Alright, settle down, because today today we have a rather confusing situation in our hands. You see, we've had artists post drawings that the art community unanimously found problematic due to the controversial subject the artist had brought to life in a congregation of unorganized pencil strokes. But this time an artist posted drawings of their OC, which for the most part has been receiving positive comments on TikTok. I know, surprising her, but on Twitter, however, these drawings have stirred the hornet's nest, triggered the metaphorical club-wielding crowd, eagerly anxious to hurl ill-fated words at artists, despite their drawings not being as controversial as they claim. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not sufficiently qualified with knowledge on this topic. So I need you guys' help with this one. Here's a drawing the artist posted. Please, could you help me spot what exactly the issue is?
Bacon avocado.
Bacon avocado.
I know you slept with my boyfriend.
Bacon avocado.
You see how the comments on TikTok are mostly infatuated by the art style and are casually enjoying the artist's OCs? Let's see what the wise counselors on Twitter have to say. She's a cock. Stop trying to detach and go to it's their drawings because it's still weird. M/M shippers like this artist try to act like they're being positive and complimentary towards black women characters, who they then depict as getting cheated on or disposed for the sake of some MM ship. Yet they know that they will never depict their white male faves in this same manner. The artist is a black woman Fujo, so she has a cock fantasy. Who cares? Funny how they spelled cares as caress. I'm guessing that was just an innocent mistake, or not. This artist is a misogynist bum, and the sooner you guys realize this, the better. Misogynist, Fujo, so many words that fill empty head and leave thoughts clouded with uncertainty and confusion. I will have meaning to these words. Let's try to understand both sides of this debate. On one side we have the artists and their OCs, and on the other we have Twitter and their interpretation of the artist's OCs. itzyoshix, or itzyoshix according to their TikTok account, is the amazing artist who has been ruffling the feathers of the art community on TikTok and Twitter with their drawings, which is rather interesting because I remember seeing their Ang fan art on Twitter and I thought it was really good. But the drawings which seem to have been causing all of this drama over the past couple of weeks is the drawings of the artist's OCs and the quote-unquote love triangle going on between them. Jennifer, Tyler and Evan are friends who have a puzzling relationship going on between them. So according to the artist, Jennifer is best friends with Evan because of Tyler, to the point where people question their relationship and wonder if they're dating. But Evan, on the other hand, has been friends with Tyler since from high school and has become friends with benefits with him, but Evan still somehow swears he's straight. Tyler is in a romantic relationship with Jenny, but they occasionally talk about his relationship with Evan, which for the most part doesn't seem too straightforward in Jenny's eyes. What is this relationship dynamic? My head hurts and the video has barely even started. So this is this polyandry, polyamory? What is this? It's funny how I'm not the only one so confused by this relationship dynamic, as people under their TikTok videos are also seeking answers to further understand the relationship between these headcanon characters. So to aid the gathered onlookers, confused fans and I myself making this video, the artist posted a video with sound bites to give us a glimpse into these characters' minds and the kind of relationship they have with each other.
When I'm on a date with a guy and he doesn't know that, I'm looking at him sideways like, you're never seeing me again. In between, like, okay, I still want to explore my life and have fun. Oh my God, this is insane. I could have bet $100 that he was gonna say his ass right here. Austin's tall ass stood the fuck up and I was confused. I was like, I'm not mad. Like, I'm actually glad that Austin took that chance because we should be exploring. So I wanted to keep it real calm and cool. Like, I was just trying to come here and just give like a nice little peck, cute and simple.
I like taking big shots. I probably shouldn't have shot that. Like, honestly, as a rookie, just getting a steal, there was still like 8 seconds left. I just shot it. I remember it, but it was cool. That wasn't up there. It's 5 minutes. I'm like, yo, OG, look at this. I gotta go. He like, yeah, you gotta go. I say, bro, I could have been a quarterback or a shortstop pitcher, whatever. I've seen different guys get more love than me. So just sitting in the green room, not knowing when my name's gonna get called was tough. Watching everybody, I was slowly taking my notes in my head and trying to build my own way. I was always like confident, swaggy, same way since I was, well, I'm telling you, 5, 6 years old. I was the same way, so.
You know, it's your first day. Hey, welcome. And the whole crew's like, hey, nice to meet you, and action, and you're running. First, I was like, wow, they're making a Transformers movie. It's insane, you know? They're gonna mess that up completely. They're gonna screw that up so bad. That would have been the end of me in this film. It would have been the first day. It's good, man. Everybody liked it. We went to the premiere, everybody was laughing. And the thing is like, it started off as like this really intense drama, and then they've totally changed the tone, and now it's a comedy. So she's like, you know, I really feel like it's gonna rain today. And I'd be like, yes, Mom, it's been El Nino for the past month. Of course it's gonna rain. Right. Like, you know, so, I mean, she's not good at it, but she has like this intuitive feeling.
A lot of people in the comments all agreed these characterizations were accurate and they could see the character come to life in the voices, and apparently the athletes really fit the characters a lot. But these videos started bringing up more questions and people started getting invested in these characters. And just a heads up, this is going to be a pretty lengthy read, so brace yourselves. I'll try to get through with it as fast as I can. Being honest, I really enjoy your artwork and the characters you've created, but after seeing a lot of the criticism you've received for this post both on here and on X from different communities, I don't know how else you want majority of people to interpret this post. You stated on X in response to the backlash and others that this is an open relationship, which is fine, but this doesn't portray that at all. It honestly just looks like Jenny and Tyler are in a relationship and then Tyler has a secret crush or is cheating on Jenny with Evan. While I agree that I don't think it's exactly like the disposable black girlfriend trope, it seems odd that she doesn't have a separate love interest like Tyler, or that she's not involved with Evan either. I get wanting to go for an unconventional dynamic, but I think overall this just comes off as a way more confusing rather than showcasing a secure open relationship. But I just don't really understand why you only chose Tyler in this relationship to experience the openness and not Jenny. Again, I know you've stated it's because maybe she doesn't want to, but then why is she agreeing to an open relationship if she doesn't even experiment or explore? Anyway, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to display non-heteronormative monogamous relationships within your art. I just think maybe the way the post looks is delivering a different message. That was a lengthy long read with a lot of sense to it. As you can see, a lot of people have automatically become invested in these artists' OCs and are taking every single bit of information the artist gives them and creating whole scenarios in their head. After scrolling through the comments this artist was receiving under their drawings, I noticed a lot of people kept on referring to the relationship their OCs have as polyamory, but then also wondering why the girl wasn't interested in also having a secret partner on the side. And most of these reactions were because of all the replies the artist had made to other comments, which made it seem like the relationship between Jenny and Evan is pretty one-sided, as the artist stated Evan wasn't interested in her at all, and this was the catalyst that sparked the entire controversy. I'm not defending the artist, and I don't like the dynamics of this solely from how common you see this with black women in media and fiction, but I hope the artist is mentally okay. They handled their responses to this poorly on Twitter, but it has to be a lot to get cooked on every corner of the internet. People started asking why the artist didn't just make all of them love each other equally, and we're calling open relationships nasty, but when the drawings somehow found their way on Twitter, that is when this entire situation spiraled out of control. People were making long threads slugging the artist through the mud, calling them out for the relationship dynamic with their OCs, and some people even started making bingo cards predicting the future of the artist's OCs. She's too beautiful to be in a relationship with anyone. She deserves better. Proceeds to never ship her with anyone else. Open poly relationship, but she never has another partner. She's fujoing out. It's so funny how people immediately became so invested in this artist's OCs and were even going out of their way creating headcanons of how they expected this relationship to turn out, begging and even creating other love interests for Jenny because they didn't like how the artist was was treating this fictional character. The situation was quickly turning into a wildfire, and people were already arguing in the comments and attacking each other over opposing opinions. Some people naturally found it weird that people were taking a simple OC situation too far and started asking them to slow it down because these were just drawings of another artist's OCs, saying they were taking the characters a little too seriously and shouldn't be starting drama over an artist's interpretation of a fictional relationship. Someone even made a quote telling people it wasn't okay how they were treating other people's OCs, and the entire comments were just laughing at them, telling them to shut up and touch some grass, and calling them negative Nancy because of how they reacted to the situation. Speaking about interesting situations, if you enjoy videos like this talking about controversies, weird or disturbing situations in the art community on the internet, you should subscribe. I post weekly and talk about art, things happening in the art community, and other things of that nature. If that's something you find interesting, just hit that little subscribe button and join the family. Among the endless list of reasons why this artist's OCs were causing so much drama on Twitter will be apparently because people who came across these drawings and also read the relationship breakdown found this situation eerily similar to the popular disposable black girlfriend trope, which is rather common in movies and TV shows where a female character who is a person of color is often created as a love interest for the main character, but is then sidelined or abandoned while the main character moves on with their new partner who is a non-POC.
This trope in media completely changed the way that I view dating throughout my life. Obviously, I am referring to the disposable black girlfriend trope. If you don't know, the disposable black girlfriend trope is the trope that a black character, particularly a black woman, is only introduced into the story to further the protagonist's storyline. This character is never the endgame relationship, but more so a stepping stone. The first time I was exposed to this trope was Charlie on Friends. I grew up watching Friends, and as we all know, Friends is not very a diverse show. When I saw Aisha Tyler guest starring as Charlie, a paleontologist, not just a pretty face, but also was so intelligent. She was around for 8 episodes, and of course I thought, oh my gosh, are we going to get a black character on a predominantly white show, but also a love interest? Nope. Charlie was just a pawn in the Ross and Rachel game. Valerie Gray and Danny Phantom. Valerie was literally a ghost hunter. They were setting up a good enemies to lovers. Sean and Angela are truly the most heartbreaking example of this trope in my opinion. Boy Meets World was a childhood staple of mine, and Sean and Angela was the first interracial relationship that I saw where a black woman was loved so loudly. I thought they were going all the way, and spoiler alert, they do not. Angela leaves with her dad because her dad is in the military. Also, Angela didn't fit the typical black girl mold in television. She wore so many different hairstyles, protective, natural. She dyed her hair. I think what pissed me off the most about Sean and Angela's breakup is that it wasn't even necessary. The showrunner came out to say that they were too good and too healthy, and if they were endgame, it would take away from Corey and Topanga's storyline. I really hope we are slowly moving away from this trope because it is very damaging to young black women. We see our favorite shows who already don't have a lot of representation, then the one time we get to be desired and the love interest, we are just tossed aside. And whether it's intentional or not, it is perpetuating this idea that we are not endgame, we are not desirable, we are not the person that gets to have our Prince Charming. So in the midst of this awful trope, please comment your...
Now, I'm not 100% sure that's exactly what's happening with this artist's OCs, since for all we know they just drew them and haven't really given enough lore or fully fleshed out their stories for people to be struggling to get on the trampoline and jump to conclusions. But from all indications, little side comments the artist has been replying to, and from all the information people have gotten from the artist so far about these characters, it appears they might be jumping to the right conclusions. Stop saying black female characters are too good for their boyfriends. You're just using it as an excuse to ship their boyfriend with another white man. I start to believe in the theory that they just took the fandom version of Mel, Jace, and Victor and turned them into OCs. Ooh, ouch. Now it seems like we're just reaching. Some people who were invested in the situation started saying the artist probably didn't know this was a trope and was just innocently drawing their characters in a relationship and posting their drawings on social media. But people quickly pointed out this trope was pretty common in movies and television shows, especially when there were no other POC characters shown to interact with the female character in the story, and the relationship dynamic was already tilting against her favor. However, black female characters get discarded all the time in favor of white male counterparts' development, and fiction often bleeds into reality. With the already little representation we have, it gets tossed to the side for nothing. If you're not going to establish any substance, then don't even make the character black at all. Every single other character she's drawn has been white or pale. She made this one black for a reason. It's titled The Disposable Black Girlfriend. The effect kind of speaks for itself. A black woman is sidelined in the name of a white love interest. Mel from Arcane and the fandom's treatment of her is another prime example. Art can be criticized, and how things are looking at right now, it seems like the main character won't be done right. Not only is this a misogynistic trope, it's also a misogynar trope, the disposable black girlfriend. There were so many more comments going back and forth discussing the characters and arguing if this was the disposable black girlfriend trope or not, and were questioning why the artist chose to not give any more context to their characters to alleviate the situation and disperse all of this drama. It seemed like this situation had somehow turned real all of a sudden, and people were treating these characters like they were in a real full-fledged story, forgetting the fact that this artist just drew their OCs and was still roughing the ideas out and hadn't even finalized the entire thing before this blew out of proportion. Are the call-out posts for this trope justifiable? Yes, to a point. Based off of what the artist had said about these characters and their relationship, and how they've responded to comments asking questions about the relationship, it indeed seemed like the trope was in full effect and the dynamic was slowly tipping over the edge and sliding down that hill. Can we know for sure? Not quite. People were only working with all the details the artist had given them about the characters, and so far all the evidence was kinda pointing towards that. People started giving the artist ideas, saying the character deserved her own love interest and that creating a separate partner for her will literally solve the entire situation. And instead of feeding into the stereotypical trope, the artist could just dismiss all the cuck allegations and give the character a deserving lovable partner. The artist had also posted their OCs on Twitter, and it will seem that was what caused this ruckus, as the post had nearly 6 million views and is still getting quotes and responses till now. The artist had to mute the post as people started attacking them, which is just weird. Like, can't we just have a normal, civil, meaningful conversation without resorting to attacking each other? You can talk about the characters and their relationship and whatever, but attacking the artists themselves, calling them names, insulting them, saying they're a cuck, they're a misogynar, is just a little too much, don't you think? The artist then made a lengthy post explaining the relationship between their characters and cleared the air, telling people this was not the trope they thought it was, and that the female character was their main protagonist and the center of their story, and she was not going anywhere or getting disposed of anytime soon. I know I need to stop addressing this because I'm just pissing myself off, but genuinely, why is it so insane that 3 fictional consenting adults are in a crazy ass love triangle where all parties just low-key like each other? Yes, it's messy, it's dumb, it's unrealistic, but that's kind of the point. Y'all don't have to fuck with my lore. It's just a stupid concept I made up. You don't have to take it seriously, because even I don't. I'm all for you guys' own takes and opinions, theories and ships of my characters, but coming at me because I decide to give my OCs an intentionally complicated relationship, who all in which are consenting agreeing adults, doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, at least this time the comments were filled with people engaging in reasonable discourse, trying to explain to the artist how a love triangle works, telling the artist why their drawing was feeding into the black disposable girlfriend trope despite not being the sole intentions of the artist, and asking the artist to admit they were wrong and to stop treating their female character like absolute shit. To be honest, both sides of this situation indeed have a point. People calling it a trope and speaking up against it are well within their rights, especially because this is an actual issue common with media and is sadly being experienced by people in real life. But speaking against a trope shouldn't be an opportunity to just attack an artist or insult their person just because you have a problem with their drawings. It's pretty easy to lose yourself and go off on a rant on social media and end up insulting a person or group of people instead of educating them about the issue. If you think what the artist did is wrong, educate them on the impact this trope has and how it is perceived in media instead of choosing derogatory words and insults as your baseline for starting a conversation. Artists are also people as well, despite being gifted with the ability to churn out godlike drawings. And sometimes they probably don't know that their drawings are going to spark off entire controversies on the internet, leading to long threads of discourse spanning days and even weeks. Let's all keep a level head when tackling conversations and respect each side of the debate even when we think they are in the wrong. And shout out to the artists for taking their time to explain their stories and the lore behind their characters even when they were being called out by an angry mob on Twitter, and taking the time to respond to all the comments instead of allowing all the negativity to dampen their spirits. I'd like to know your thoughts about this relationship dynamic. Do you think this is the disposable girlfriend trope, or do you think the artist just drew their characters in a really complicated relationship which is just pissing the entire internet off? I'll be waiting to read your thoughts in the comments. Well, it looks like you made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, share the video with a friend who doesn't know about this situation, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye.